Ah, Trevor, my most promising Padawan. Today I want to start with our force training. I want you to take your lightsaber and I want you to block these projectiles, but you gotta keep your eyes closed the whole time. Let the force be your guide. Oh, those got you pretty good. Smack dab on the nose. Alright, let's reevaluate this. I want you to focus. Feel the force. Let it bind you, pass through you. Let it tell you where to go, and you will hit those projectiles, no doubt. I hit it! Ah, that was very close. You almost had him. Just a second behind. All you have to do right now, Trevor, is focus on the force just a little bit harder, and I believe you can hit one. What's up, everybody? You've seen his skills there for a second, and the reason why he's doing that is because we have a game on review, and this one is called Star Wars Risk. And this guy to my right is...
Chris.
And...
Trevor.
And we are here reviewing this game, and Star Wars Risk is a re-implementation of an older game called Star Wars Queen's Gambit, where there are 3 different battles happening in an episode of Star Wars. Now, Queen's Gambit was the first episode, and this one is the very last, Return of the Jedi. And it doesn't really have much to do with Risk at all, does it?
It's not a risky game.
No,
no pun intended. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's just again, it takes the same game from Queen's Gambit and puts it into this format. Now, as you can see, this is the deluxe version. I was able to get this one on Amazon, the black box version, but you can go out and get a cheaper version with the same thing, game style wise, but with lower components. So, without further ado, let us show you why this isn't really a Risk game more than it is just basically its own Star Wars game. Let's show you what comes in the box, and then we'll show you how to play. So these are the components that come in the deluxe version of the Star Wars Risk game. Now, I want to start by saying, if you watch our videos, you know this is one of my favorite games of all time. This strikes my number 10 of said list if you've watched that video, and the reason why it does is that it is a surprise hit for me. Now, I do like Star Wars a lot, but I really stray away from Risk games because I'm not a big fan of them. It's just not my type of game. So if it's a Risk game, it has to do something different for me to actually like it. And this one, where it's not really a kind of Risk type mechanism, is a Risk game. It says it on the box, and there's another reason why I like it, and I'll get into more detail later on the video, but this does something different with the game, and this is why I am a big fan. So now you know my thoughts. You're going to hear even more thoughts at the end of the video. Let's get into the components. So the first component that you can see is the board. It kind of looks like a TIE fighter here. It's a puzzle board. You just assemble it. It's 3 pieces, well, big pieces, and then you have these cardboard ships up here, and you're going to be placing these on the top of the TIE fighters, and these are the Rebel planet ships. These are basically going to be deploying ships for the Rebels. And all of this cardboard in the deluxe version is really good. I'm pretty sure the same standard is for the lower quality one when it comes to the cardboard. The board will be the same. So let's get into the next plastic components, which are mostly the same for the deluxe and standard version. You have the X-Wings, and all these models here are going to be the same for the Rebels. These are really done nice. I was very impressed with these. Then you have your Y-Wings for the Rebels. These are really cool, a gold color. And then you have the B-Wings, and these again are the same for both copies of the game. Really cool minis, but the difference for the Rebels is this ship right here. This is the deluxe version of the Millennium Falcon, and the standard version is going to be cardboard. It's really cool. I love that ship. Now let's go over to the Empire. This is also going to be a different ship. It's going to be cardboard in the standard version, but this is the Executor. Really cool ship on a big standee. And of course, this is what you buy the deluxe version for, the Death Star. This is going to be a cardboard, again, piece in the standard version, but look how cool this is. It's just gorgeous. Then you have your TIE fighters, of course, for the Empire, and they're done pretty nice. pretty good detail on such a small little model, and you get a whole bunch. There are way more ships in the game. The other thing that the Empire gets, you're going to be putting these on Andor, and I'm pretty sure these are going to be cardboard components in the standard version. I'm not sure. I think you might get these, but these are tiny little stormtroopers that you're going to have 9 of. Then you have little small cardboard components. These are going to be representing the HP for your Millennium Falcon, Executor, Luke, Darth, and all that kind of stuff. So you've seen basically all the components with the exception of the cards and dice. I think these are better dice than what you would get in the standard version. So they're just, you know, translucent red dice, but these cards are very much different. These are really high quality cards. In the standard version, they're going to have a different art and they're going to be a bit thinner. I am very enamored with these cards. They're not linen finish, but they have a nice good gloss to them, though I did sleeve them right away because there was some chipping going on the edges here. As you can see, I went with the Return of the Jedi sleeve for you know, the Rebels, and I went with, well, of course, this guy for the Empire. Now, the Empire's cards is a black on the back, but same thing, Star Wars wrist. I don't know if you can see that that ink on the actual camera there, but those are all the components. Now let me show you how to play the game. Alright, so here's the game set up for a 2-player game. You can play a 2v2 4-player game, but it's really built for a 2-player game. You're going to put all the ships that you have here out on the board. All the Rebel ships are going to be going out, and some of the TIE Fighters are going to be in reserve for the Empire. You'll give each player their respective decks, put all the little counters where they need to be on the side of the board, and you're ready to play. Now look how gorgeous it is. Now, the question is it worth it to front the extra $25 to get this deluxe copy of the game? And I would pose to you, you should if you are a big Star Wars fan. If you are a Risk fan, this game isn't going to appeal to you really in that form. But if you are a Star Wars fan and you want this big Death Star piece along with a whole bunch of other upgraded things, I would say it is worth the extra $20 to $25. But if you just want to play this game because you like the way that it plays and you are a moderate Star Wars fan, you could save yourself money and get the standard version. I personally got a gift card and I was able to add a little bit onto it and get this deluxe copy with this puzzly insert. Look at that. Look at that. So now that you have the game set up, let me explain how it plays. Alright, in the game of Star Wars Risk, it's not like Risk at all. It's more like the game of Queen's Gambit, the Star Wars game of Episode 1 back in the day when it came out in the 90s by Hasbro, but this was a more 3D board. It takes that mechanism and makes it a bit more cost effective, but still pretty cool, and you can have that same experience. The 3 battles that are happening here are in the final movie, Return of the Jedi, and this is the battle between Luke and Vader, the battle on Andor, and the ultimate battle in space trying to take out the second Death Star. So what you're trying to do as the Empire is trying to take out all the enemy ships, the Rebel ships, and that will win you the game. On the Rebel side, what you have to do is basically take out the Death Star. That's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about any other ships or killing Vader. You just have to roll a 6 and take out this Death Star. How do you do that? Well, as the Rebels, you're going to have to progress this track on Andor and disable the shields here. And once you've done that, any ship can come to the adjacent spot here and take out the Death Star with a 6. Now, the ways that you can do that is by playing multiple cards, by winning, you know, the battle over here with Luke and Vader, or taking out whole sections of ships. But on your turn, you're going to be drawing, at the start of the game, 6 cards out of your respective deck, and you're only going to be playing 3 of those every turn. You might have an opportunity to play more off the top of your deck, but I'll get into that in a second. So in the Empire's deck, you have different pictures. Now, on your turn, you're going to be placing the cards down in the order that you want to reveal them, so the bottom one will be revealed last, so make sure you have your cards in order, but you're going to be picking one of the multiple pictures on the card. Now, the picture here, this one here, will allow you to take some of these stormtroopers and place it on Andor. You get to place 3 every time you execute this card. Now that's important because when the Rebels play this card, it has the emblem here. This is going to have them roll all these dice and progress on the track trying to disable the shield. And the Stormtroopers add 1 to the roll. You can't really see it too much, but it goes from 2 all the way to 3 here, and it goes up to 4 along the track, and then ultimately 5. If you're able to roll any of these dice, to at least match or above it, you can progress. Now in this roll, they would be able to basically progress all 3 of these because they had the +1, but they have a 3, 6, and 4. So they would progress as many times as they hit on the dice when you play that emblem, and that's how both of those emblems work on Andor. The next card that I want to show you is the battle over here with Luke and Vader. You can play this one here as the Empire, or you can play the green lightsaber for the Rebels, and you're just going to be taking 4 dice and just rolling them, and it shows you everything on the board here, so there's a lot of references. I like that. And any dice that hit on a 4 or higher is going to do 1 point of damage to the opposing person. Let's say the Empire striking Luke, they're only going to hit him 1 time because they rolled a 6. Now, the special thing that I want to let you know about this track here is the Rebels have a special symbol here with the Vader face on it, and that pertains to these 3 red circles at the end. If they ever play this card right here, Vader is redeemed, and he basically gets he throws the Emperor off the building or whatever and dies, and you basically win this battle. Now it's important because every time you win like a special battle here, you get to play extra cards. Now if Luke were to beat the Empire and or Vader here, he or she will get to pull 4 cards off the top of their deck and place them underneath any remaining cards they might have. Let's say they have 2 more, and they will place the 2 cards on top they have yet to execute, and this will give them 4 more unanswered card turns if the Empire isn't able to gain more via their turns. And that's what will happen if Luke wins, but if Vader wins, the Empire only gets to pull 3 cards off the top of their deck and place them underneath the remaining cards that they have. So that's what happens if you win this battle right here. The other card that the Empire has that automatically does 2 damage is this Lightning Shock. So if you ever play this one here and you choose it, you would just take Luke down 2 points immediately. Now let's go over the space battle. Now this is very self-explanatory. There are TIE fighters here. You can do one of 2 things if you want to play the TIE fighters. If the Executor is in play, you can move any of your TIE fighters, all or some of them, from one spot and put them into one adjacent spot on the board. Or you can deploy 4 TIE fighters wherever the Executor is if you play a TIE fighter card and if the Executor is in play. This one will allow you to move the Executor on the Empire side 2 spaces. Now these are special ships, and they will the Millennium Falcon will also have 2 moves, but the other ships just move 1. Now the thing that you can also do is after your turn, if you are occupying a space that has adjacent ships, you can attack those ships, and they have special determined points that they will get destroyed on. Let me go over them now. The TIE fighters, if you roll a 3 or higher, they will get destroyed. That's the same for the X-wings. The Y-wings here will get destroyed on a 4 or higher. The B-wings will get destroyed on a 5 or higher. All these mini ships only have 1 health point. The 2 major ships, though, have a score track here, and they will get hit on a 5 or higher, and once they are destroyed, something special will happen. Basically, if the Executor is destroyed, no longer can you deploy any of your reserves of TIE fighters, and that's the special perk that the Rebels get. But if the Millennium Falcon gets destroyed, you get to do the same thing that you would if you get destroy Luke and draw 3 cards and put them on the bottom of your deploying actions. And the Rebels have the same thing, self-explanatory. The X-wings and the Y-wings, you can move them off, and you will attack with however many of the ships are occupying. So if you have 5 X-wings here, you will take all 5 dice. You can't exceed that number and roll them. But say if you only had 4, you would roll 4. Look at me make a mess here. So the other thing that I want to say is you can move them off these home ships here, and that's important because the other thing that the Empire has is this Death Star. Now they are able to shoot these little home ships. They'll take 2 of these dice, and if they roll a 5 or a 6, they completely wipe out whatever one they were aiming for and any ships that were on board. So that's what the Death Star, it's really powerful. The one thing that you can also do is shoot within this inner circle, but you can't do that until you blow up all these ships. Even if they're empty, you have to take that one out, and then you can start to execute whatever spot that you want. If you roll a 5 or a 6 here and you're able to execute those because those are done, it will take out all the ships in that space. Now the one thing that's important, if you take out all the ships in one space, you get a extra card on underneath, just as if you were to get a bonus in the other ways that I told you. So that's another way to get extra cards, is to clear out a whole space there. And that's basically how the game is played out. You will do a process of picking your 3 cards, and if you have any bonus cards, that will happen later on, and you will take turns back and forth playing 1 card. The Rebels always go first. They will execute 1 card, and then the Empire will flip 1, and then they will execute 1 card. And you'll continue to do this process until all orders have been executed. Again, if one player runs out and another player has cards, they will continue to execute orders until they are done, and then all these cards will be discarded. You will draw 3 more cards to your hand of 6 and continue that this process until one of the end-game stipulations is met, whether it be the Empire taking out all the ships or the Rebels taking the marker all the way down to the shield here and taking the shield off of the Death Star and taking any ship, but the most appropriate one would be an X-Wing, and rolling a single 6 on it, and then they will win and blow up the Death Star. That's how the Rebels win. Again, I didn't mention that the Millennium Falcon also attacks just like the Executor. He will get 2 dice, and he'll hit wherever the ships may lie. So that is how you play Star Wars Risk. And this is certainly my surprise hit of the year and one of my favorite games at this point in time because of the streamlined play. The components are really cool, and it really wraps up within 45 minutes to an hour, and I like that. I don't like long games of Risk. So now let's give this game a grade and tell you what we think. Let's go. So that is how you play this simple game, and it is quite gorgeous as well. And as I said that in the beginning of the video, now as we always do here on GameVine, we're going to be giving this game a grade and or a letter. And I'll start, but Chris, I just want to add, you're just kind of here. We played this game together. I played it multiple times. So if he has something to say, you're more than welcome to, but I know that you're just kind of tagging along. But the grade that I'm going to give this one is a good one because I'm quite biased to Star Wars, having no surprise. And it is a 90%, which is a low A. Now, I give it this grade based on some of the components, and would I give this grade to the lower one? Maybe I would knock off 2 to 3 points, possibly for that. But the things that I like about this game is it's quick, it's fast, it's dice rolly, but that is kind of the things that I don't like about it, is that it's completely lucky. I mean, It's insanely hard for the Empire to win, and I'm going to say that right now. And even though if you're playing the Empire, you're having fun. A lot of these pieces look complicated, but it's such a simplistic way to play this game. You're just moving these here, and you have a set number, and you know that you can hit on this, you can hit on that, you can hit on this, and just go ahead and play. Now, I like how it's broke up into 3 different things. Which one should you go for before you do the others? I don't know, apparently, because I can't win as the Empire. But I do have fun when I play this game. But the downfalls that I would say is it is extremely lucky. But it is not a Risk game at all. This is just like the Queen's Gambit, just in a smaller package. So that is my grade. I could elaborate more, but I'm going to let this guy take over, and then we'll see if he wants to say anything. So, what's your scale going to be?
Well, I come at this from a perspective that I've played a lot of other Risk games before, so I think I enter it with a little different perspective than you do.
Right. So, the caveat, I have only played the base game Risk. I've played nothing else, and this is where his opinion is going to matter a little more than mine, I think.
It's a good game. There's elements of Risk that are here. You have the mods, which is, you know, it definitely, you've got like your specific mods. Now you can add to your board. I can't add. Everything that's out there is already out there. But you aren't rolling against each other, which is something I always liked with Risk-based games. You're rolling on each other, and honestly, you could have really great rolls on attack, but if the defender is just completely blocking you with equally as good rolls, it doesn't matter. With this game, you're just trying to meet particular values for each mod. Now, The Empire's mods, all you have to do to beat the TIE Fighters is get a 3 or better. So it's really easy to kill TIE Fighters. Obviously, Y-Wings and B-Wings, you have to get a little bit higher. With Y-Wings, it's a 4 or higher. B-Wings, it's a 5 or higher. So there's not really that unpredictable rolling against each other thing. You're just rolling against a base value. So it takes that away from it. But, you know, there's elements of risk here. So I would say my grade, I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as a risk game per se, but I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
It's a fun game. It's a good game. I think I could play it multiple times and enjoy it. If I were to put this in a pile of risk games, would I pick it out? 9 times out of 10, I probably wouldn't pick this game out to play if I'm picking a risk game out. That's kind of where I ended up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're rolling against a baseline, which I think streamlines the game, but does take away from it, but it makes it crazy lucky. Like you said, you can really defend if you're able to roll against somebody, which, again, that's this is much, much shorter than a risk game, and like Trevor said, this isn't a risk game, and you're not going to pick it to be one. But it is a Star Wars game, and I like it for that. Chris, do you have anything to input on this? You're a Star Wars fan.
I am a Star Wars fan, but I don't have a grade for this game at all.
Yeah, because he just kind of watched us play it.
I just watched play it.
It's a 2-player game. There is a variant for teams. You can do 4, like 2v2, and each one of you will play a card. You would actually play 4 cards instead of 3, and they would take turns like that.
But the thing that I like the most that I saw from you guys is just all of these things are so detailed.
Now these ships are going to be the same in the lower quality version. The only things that change are the Death Stars and the major ships and the cards. Now these cards I didn't really show too much of them, but they are really good quality. Look at me knock over stuff. But yeah,
that's all I got to say.
The miniatures,
it just looks great.
That's really what brings it to me. And my grade is really high because the Star Wars Queen's Gambit is one of my grail games. I really want to find it. It's out of print. It's like $400. So when I was able to obtain this, I was just ecstatic. So take that into your decision on buying this game. Know that I'm giving this a higher grade because I personally like it so much.
I think if I had any beef with it, it's that I think it's really easy to slap the name Star Wars and Risk on something, and you're going to sell a ton more.
That was the combo.
Yeah.
That was the grail combo that they were wanting.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes putting a Risk game name on a game will kind of be its downfall.
Well, I actually haven't played it, but there is like an actual Star Wars Risk.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's completely separate from this, so don't confuse the two.
And
I haven't played that either, so I can't give you any thoughts.
It's more risky. It is. So the one thing that we want to do before we did close out the video, Trevor is going to help us out, and he just wants to give this game away. He's been talking about it for a while, and we don't know if it's good. None of us have played it.
I haven't played it.
We're going to do a giveaway, and this is for the Halo Risk that you're going to see right here in front of me. Trevor's very own copy that he donated to the Game Vine just for this cause. And the way that you can obtain this is by liking this video and leaving down in the comments your favorite Risk variant. Tell us which one do you like the most, or tell us the one that you absolutely hate. It doesn't matter. If you comment in here, you're going to be eligible to win. We'll have this run for about maybe 3 weeks to a month to have people kind of get in there. And once we pick a winner, I'll have him pick a winner. And if you want him to sign it, he'll sign it. He'll
be worth millions at that point.
A whole bunch of bucks. So thank you so much for watching today's review. We hope you enjoyed it. This was a game that I would personally recommend based on if you are a Star Wars fan, you're gonna like this game.
Absolutely.
At least for the first playthrough. I think it deserves repeat plays. Trevor, your thoughts?
It's a good game, I think, especially for fans. And I won't say that they just stamped Star Wars and Risk on the box and are just planning to sell a bunch of copies. It's a good game. I mean, it's not like they put together a poorly produced, poorly thought out game and are just expecting to sell a bunch of stuff because it has Star Wars on it. It's a good game. If you're just a purist when it comes to Risk, it may not be what you expect, but it's a fun game. It has elements of Risk. I definitely recommend buying it, and I think anybody that, even if you're not a fan, you'll enjoy playing this game.
Right, yeah, it's very thematic. And Chris, sum up your...
Good.
Alright, so thank you so much for watching again. Please like and subscribe at the very end of the video. I've been Dave.
I've been Chris.
Trevor.
Until the next time that we see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. Good luck in the giveaway, everybody. We're out. Bye!
Wait.
To everyone.
Really, dude?